Hey, Reddit. I never thought I'd end up here, but after everything I've experienced, I need to get this out. Maybe just to feel a little more grounded. I'm 34, and not too long ago, I was engaged to a woman named Marlene, 37. She has a 16-year-old daughter, Leia. We crossed paths in an art event in San Diego about 2 years ago. Leia had some of her photography on display, and I stopped to compliment one of the prints. That sparked a conversation that lasted over an hour. Marlene had this peaceful, steady presence. She opened up about going through a messy divorce and how she was finally starting to rebuild her life. I respected that. I've done pretty well for myself in tech. I run my own business, live in a fully paid-off home, and cashed out from a small startup I sold in my late 20s. I don't flaunt my success, but I've worked hard for it. Having seen a few friends get taken for a ride during divorces, I always knew that if I got serious with someone, a prenuptial agreement would be essential. Fast forward about a year into our relationship. Marlene and Leia moved in with me. Everything seemed smooth at first, or so I believed. Leia could be a little intense, curious, and sometimes invasive. One time she asked about the value of my stock portfolio for what she said was a school assignment. I chalked it up to teenage curiosity and didn't think much of it. Several months later, I popped the question. It was nothing grand, just a quiet, intimate moment on the Oregon coast, just the two of us. She cried, said yes, and kissed me like something out of a romance film. I genuinely felt like the luckiest man alive. Then came the discussion about the prenup. I brought it up gently and clearly. I emphasized that it wasn't about mistrust, but about being smart and protecting what we each bring into the marriage. I even proposed terms that would ensure she'd be taken care of if things didn't work out. My requests were modest. I wanted to keep my house, any earnings from before we met, and a few investment accounts separate. I wasn't trying to cut her off from everything, just protecting my past. But she snapped, accused me of not believing in her, said that if I really loved her, I wouldn't even consider something like that, claimed I must think she was a gold digger. She even tossed out, "You knew I had a daughter when you got involved. Do you not trust her either?" I tried to calm the situation, but it completely shifted the atmosphere between us. She wouldn't let it go. A couple of days later, I found an article left on the kitchen counter. Prenups, the first step toward divorce. Real subtle. I didn't press the issue again. Looking back, I wish I had. About a month before the wedding, she started pushing for joint bank accounts. Said it would make wedding planning easier. I politely declined, saying we could manage with separate finances until after the ceremony. Cue round 2 of emotional chaos. Suddenly, I was hiding things and trying to control her. Then, out of nowhere, Leia joined in. With a completely serious face, she told me, "You'll regret leaving us. One day you'll realize what you lost." It didn't feel like concern. It felt like a warning. That same night, I noticed our share home office had been tampered with. A drawer I rarely use, where I kept old tax documents, financial papers, even a folder with copies of Social Security numbers, had clearly been gone through. Yes, I know. It was careless to keep that kind of stuff unlocked in the house. Lesson learned. When I confronted Marlene, she played dumb and claimed she was just tidying up. My instincts were screaming that something wasn't right. So I quietly started canceling everything. Venue, catering, the whole wedding setup, without informing her yet. Then I packed a bag, booked an Airbnb, and told her I needed space. She lost it. My phone was flooded with missed calls, voicemail after voicemail, some sobbing, others yelling. Then I got a message from Leia, sent from Marlene's number. "You up? Hope your house keeps you warm at night." That was 3 months ago. I blocked both of them, thinking that would be the end. It wasn't. About 3 weeks back, a friend from college, who now works at a credit union, called me unexpectedly. He couldn't share specifics due to legal restrictions, but his words were clear. "You might want to review your credit report." So I did, and my stomach turned. 2 loan applications had been filed under my name, one for a student loan and another for a car loan. Both had me listed as a co-signer. After things started unraveling, I brought in both a lawyer and a private investigator. It didn't take long for the pieces to fall into place. Turns out, no surprise, it was Marlene who had used an old copy of my Social Security card to attempt co-signing Leah onto a private education loan, followed shortly by an application for a car loan. When those failed, someone tried to open new lines of credit using altered versions of my name. Typos that almost passed under the radar. But it didn't stop there. As my legal team dug deeper, my attorney obtained messages between Marlene and one of her friends. Their conversations were disturbingly clear. They were mapping out their future and just needed to get through the wedding. One message still echoes in my head. Once we're married, I don't have to fake being relaxed about money anymore. There were also texts from Leah that chilled me. One said, I don't get why he won't let us in. If this doesn't work, I'm just going to say I'm pregnant or something. We need this. Need. Not love. Not family. Need. I sat in silence as I read it all. Every memory. Her kissing me goodnight. Those quiet evenings curled up watching old movies. The way she whispered, I love you, like it meant everything. Suddenly felt like scenes from performance. Had any of it been sincere? All the evidence was handed to law enforcement. The investigation shifted gears. Identity theft, financial fraud. It wasn't just speculation anymore. Marlene never called again, but she did send one final email. The subject line read, I'm sorry. Inside, she wrote, I know you must hate me, but I didn't mean to hurt you. I just didn't want to fall back into struggle. I thought we could build something. Yes, I messed up, but you went too far. You could have had faith in me. We were so close. Close to what exactly? I didn't reply. I never will. Once the PI's full report came in, the full scope of their actions became clear. They hadn't just filed shady loan applications. They had forged my signature on 2 separate documents they downloaded off some questionable website. One was a fake consent form supposedly allowing Leah to use my credit for college expenses. The other was a draft of a revocable living trust, naming Marlene and Leah as beneficiaries. They hadn't filed it anywhere official, but the fact they had a fake estate plan sitting in a drawer told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't a relationship. It was a scam unfolding in slow motion. My lawyer turned it all over to the district attorney. A few weeks later, the office decided to press charges. Felony charges, attempted identity theft, falsification of legal documents, fraud, and conspiracy to commit financial crimes. Even Leah, despite being 16, is under investigation, though they're handling her case as a juvenile matter. That part still hits me the hardest. I really saw her as my own. I helped that girl build her photography website from scratch, took her to her first concert, watched her beam during school presentations where she introduced me as her bonus dad. That same kid went behind my back and signed my name to a $22,000 loan. As for Marlene, she initially tried to deny everything, claimed she had no clue what Leah was up to, said she was just doing what any mother would, trying to secure her child's future. But when prosecutors asked how my forged signature wound up on fake legal forms and why she texted her sister about securing the future, she suddenly stopped talking and hired her own attorney. Her ex-husband even came forward once news broke. He told investigators that during their divorce, she allegedly drained a retirement fund and tried to file retroactive child support while he was unemployed. So now, I'm not her only financial casualty. Emotionally, that's a whole different story. People ask how I'm doing. Some days, I feel completely numb. Other days, it swings between fury, guilt, and grief. You don't realize how deep this stuff cuts until you're lying next to someone, letting them in, sharing passwords, dreams, meals, and find out they were plotting a financial ambush the entire time. It wasn't just betrayal. It was psychological warfare. I look back and see the red flags I brushed aside, her obsession with my financial milestones, her constant hints about merging assets, Leah asking what would happen to my house if I died without a will. The signs were all there. I just didn't want to believe them. Therapy has helped. I've been meeting with someone weekly to process all of this. My ability to trust is now pretty much Olympic level guarded, but I'm working through it. I've also frozen all credit activity, changed every login credential I have, and updated my will to make sure no one gets added without thorough legal review. If there's a bright side, it's this: I escaped before signing that marriage license. No shared bank accounts. No joint legal obligations. No child that wasn't mine. Thank God they didn't pull that card. And as for what Leia warned me, that I'd regret leaving? No, I don't regret walking away. What I regret is ever letting them through the door.